The greatest shift in retail history isn't happening at the mall. It is happening in the aisles of the world's largest home improvement store. For decades, the orange apron was a symbol of helpful advice for the weekend warrior. But that promise has been quietly dismantled in 2026. From locked-up merchandise to empty checkout lanes, millions of loyal customers are realizing they aren't the priority anymore. The numbers confirm it, with rising prices and stalling sales, alongside a massive $18 billion bet on a completely different type of customer. Home Depot is fundamentally changing its identity, and the store you grew up with is gone forever. To understand why the aisles feel different, you have to look at the money. In late 2025, Home Depot released financial guidance that sent a shiver through Wall Street. After years of explosive growth during the pandemic, the company hit a wall. Their fiscal outlook for 2026 projected comparable sales growth of flat to just 2%, which represents a standstill for a company of this size. Earnings per share were guided down and missed analyst expectations. The explanation was even more telling than the numbers themselves. Executives blamed high interest rates and a weak housing market, while their biggest competitor, Ace Hardware, was opening 45 new stores in a single quarter. The stock has lagged behind the S&P 500 over the last year as investors lose faith in the old model. This quarter signaled the end of the renovation boom that built the modern Home Depot. The engine that drove Home Depot's success for 40 years was the simple act of moving house. You buy a new place to fix the kitchen and paint the walls. That cycle has completely broken down because the lock-in effect is still strangling the market in 2026. Millions of homeowners are sitting on mortgage rates under 4% from years ago, while current rates hover much higher. Nobody is selling unless they absolutely have to, so existing home sales have remained at historical lows for over 2 years. When people don't move, they don't spend $20,000 on a new deck or a bathroom overhaul. They just fix what breaks. This frozen market has stripped Home Depot of its most profitable customer, the new homeowner with a long to-do list and a fresh credit card. The store traffic tells the story, as visits are down and Saturday mornings are increasingly quiet. Faced with a disappearing consumer base, Home Depot didn't try to win you back. Instead, they bought a new future. In a massive deal that closed recently, the company spent $18 billion to acquire SRS Distribution. Unless you are a roofer or a pool contractor, you have probably never heard of them, which is exactly the intention. SRS is a giant in the professional space that sells building materials directly to trade professionals and often bypasses retail stores entirely. This acquisition expanded Home Depot's total addressable market by $50 billion overnight, while signaling a permanent shift in priorities. Leadership made it clear, by spending that kind of capital on a B2B distributor, that the future of this company is not selling light bulbs to dad. It is selling pallet loads of shingles to construction firms. This was the largest acquisition in their history, and it wasn't for the DIY crowd. We are tracking the collapse of major retail empires all year. If you want to stay informed, hit subscribe and the notification bell right now, because it helps us keep covering these stories. The new strategy is leaving customers behind. Ted Decker, the CEO of Home Depot, has been explicit about this new direction. In investor calls throughout late 2025, the focus was almost entirely on the Complex Pro. This isn't the local handyman fixing a sink, but rather large-scale contractors managing million-dollar projects. The company has rolled out Project Pro as a suite of digital tools and management software designed specifically for them. The goal is to turn Home Depot into a supply house that just happens to have a front door. For the average shopper, this means the store layout and inventory are being adjusted, for contractors who buy in bulk, instead of someone looking for a specific decorative hinge. The Pro ecosystem is where the investment dollars are flowing. If you feel like the store isn't built for you anymore, you are right. You are simply not the target demographic for their growth strategy in 2026. The pros get digital tools and dedicated loading docks, but the regular customer gets a very different experience inside the Fortress store. Theft has become a flashpoint for retailers, but Home Depot's solution has alienated millions. Walk into a store today and you will find power tools, copper wire, circuit breakers, and even laundry detergent behind locked glass or plexiglass. To buy a $50 drill, you now have to track down an employee and wait 10 minutes for them to find the key before being escorted to the register. This friction destroys the impulse to buy. Former CEO Bob Nardelli admitted that locking items up kills sales, but the current management views it as a requirement. For a DIYer who needs to touch and compare products, the shopping experience has become frustrating and hostile. It shows clearly that the company does not trust you, and your convenience does not matter. If you do manage to get your item unlocked, it is hard to find someone to ring you up. The staffing levels at Home Depot have visibly plummeted. The company has aggressively pushed self-checkout to cut labor costs and left the Pro Desk as the only place with consistent human staffing. For the novice attempting a plumbing repair, the disappearance of the knowledgeable older employee who could explain the difference between PEX and copper is a devastating loss. That specific advice was the main competitive advantage Home Depot had over Amazon. Now you are wandering vast, empty aisles under fluorescent lights, trying to flag down one of the few overworked associates who are busy restocking shelves. Without the service component, the physical store loses its value. If nobody is there to help you, then you might as well just order it online from your couch. There is a demographic challenge for Home Depot, known as the skill gap. Generation Z and younger millennials are actually eager to improve their homes, and surveys show over 50% of them plan to renovate in 2026. The problem is, they don't know how. Unlike baby boomers who grew up fixing cars and building fences, younger generations often lack that baseline mechanical experience. They turn to YouTube for answers instead of the staff. When they do visit the store, the lack of guidance makes the project feel impossible. The trust gap is real because they feel intimidated by the warehouse environment and ignored by the pro-focused staff. As a result, they are increasingly choosing service providers or just living with the broken fixture. Home Depot is failing to educate the next generation of customers and effectively cutting off the supply of future DIYers. We cannot ignore the price tag. The inflation spike of the last few years has left a lasting impact on the home improvement industry. Lumber prices have stabilized since the chaotic peaks of 2021, but the overall cost of a project has risen sharply. Paint, fixtures, screws, and tools are all much more expensive than they were 5 years ago. A simple bathroom refresh that used to cost $2,000 is now pushing $5,000. For the average family living paycheck to paycheck, these projects have moved from weekend fun to a financial burden. The wealth effect that made homeowners feel rich when their property values soared has evaporated under the weight of the cost of living. Home Depot's aisles are full of discretionary items that you want rather than things you need. In an economy where grocery bills are still hurting, that new vanity unit is the first thing to get cut from the budget. The large chains are stumbling, but smaller stores are growing fast. Ace Hardware and local independent stores are experiencing a revival in 2026. Their business model is the exact opposite of the Fortress Home Depot. Their stores are smaller, at 10 to 15,000 square feet, so you can get in and out in 10 minutes. They prioritize staffing, so someone actually asks if you need help the moment you walk in. Recent data shows smaller format stores are outperforming big box chains in visit share growth. Customers are choosing to shop elsewhere. They are willing to pay a slightly higher price at Ace to avoid the busy parking lots, the locked cages, and the self-checkout frustration at the big orange box. Home Depot became too big to care about the small purchase. And that arrogance has created a massive opening for competitors who still value service. People are not simply fleeing to Lowe's. Lowe's is facing many of the same macroeconomic headwinds, but they have managed the situation slightly differently. Under their total home strategy, they have tried to keep a softer and more consumer-friendly image by focusing heavily on decor and appliances. These are the finishing touches rather than just raw building materials. However, their stock has also struggled and remained down slightly or flat in recent comparisons. Analysts currently favor Lowe's slightly for being undervalued, but the reality is that both members of the duopoly are pivoting. Lowe's is also chasing the pro customer because they see the same data Home Depot does. The difference is that Home Depot is making the shift more aggressively and is willing to sacrifice the retail experience faster. Lowe's is not necessarily dominating the market, since both giants are realizing the competition for the DIYer might not be worth fighting anymore. For years, Home Depot was considered Amazon-proof because you can't ship a bag of concrete or a 12-foot 2x4 with Prime 2-day shipping. That protection is gone. Amazon still can't ship lumber efficiently, but they have captured the high-margin add-on business that keeps physical stores profitable. Faucets, light fixtures, cabinet hardware, smart home devices, and tools are the items with the best markups, and they are exactly what people are now buying online. You might go to Home Depot for the drywall because you have to, but you buy the expensive shower head on Amazon because it is cheaper and has better reviews. This leaves Home Depot as a lumberyard, selling heavy, low-margin commodities while losing the profitable accessories. The Project Pro strategy is a direct response to this. They know they can't beat Amazon on retail goods, so they are focusing heavily on the heavy materials Amazon can't touch. Underlying all these trends is the major issue of consumer debt. By 2026, credit card delinquencies have ticked up to concerning levels. The pandemic savings buffer is long gone. For the average homeowner, a kitchen remodel is usually financed through a home equity line of credit or credit cards. With interest rates making borrowing expensive and credit limits maxed out on essentials like groceries and utilities, the capacity for big-ticket spending has evaporated. Home Depot sells big tickets. They depend on consumers feeling confident enough to borrow $10,000 for new flooring. That confidence doesn't exist right now. The pro customer passes those costs on to their commercial clients, or wealthy homeowners who are immune to these economic pressures. This debt reality is the decisive factor ending the mass-market DIY boom. From a strict business perspective, abandoning the DIYer makes perfect sense. The professional contractor is a predictable and recurring revenue stream. They don't shop based on the weather, but rather because they have a job to finish. They buy in bulk and return less often, while not needing a 20-minute explanation on how to install a toilet. The DIY market is volatile, as it swings with consumer confidence, weather patterns, and the housing market. By pivoting to a B2B model, Home Depot is trying to insulate itself from the next recession. They are trading the high-traffic and chaotic retail energy for the steady and boring operation of a supply chain logistics company. It is a better strategy for their stock price in the long run, even if it means the stores become empty for the rest of us. The Home Depot of 2030 will look very different. Imagine a warehouse that is closed to the public, or perhaps a showroom where you can look but not touch. The vast retail footprint will likely shrink. We will see more fulfillment centers and fewer retail aisles. The front of the store might remain for the dedicated renovators, but the back 80% will be a restricted zone for pro order picking. The friendly orange apron will be replaced by automated pickers and forklifts loading flatbeds. The transition we are seeing in 2026 is only the start. The company is evolving into a construction logistics giant and leaving the home improvement retail experience to smaller and more agile competitors. The era of wandering the aisles on a Saturday morning to plan a project is ending. The collapse of the consumer-focused Home Depot was a choice rather than an accident. Facing a frozen housing market and a skilled labor crisis, the company decided that its future lies with the contractor rather than the homeowner. For those of us who grew up viewing the orange sign as a sign of opportunity, it is difficult to accept. The tools are locked up, the aisles are empty, and the focus has shifted. It marks the end of the peak era of American DIY. If you found this breakdown of the retail shift helpful, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next analysis of the Change-A-Me.